It's a great honor and pleasure on behalf of the Board of Trustees of the Lovett School to introduce Arthur Blank.
Thank you, Bill. Your remarks were very kind and deeply appreciated. Graduating seniors and Chairman Morris and our headmaster, trustees, parents, families, friends, it's truly an honor to be with you on this special day today to celebrate and congratulate the class of 2003. When Trustee John Glover asked me to speak today, I was honored to find out the senior class members actually pick the person they want to hear from at their graduation ceremony. So it's a special honor for me, and thank you all for asking me. I'm also honored to continue what's been a long association between the Lovett School and our football team, the Atlanta Falcons. Before I bought the Falcons, the Smith family loved and guided the Falcons franchise for more than 35 years. They have loved and have helped guide Lovett for longer than that. Generations of the Smith family are proud Lovett alumni, including my friend Taylor Smith, his sister, Lovett trustee Dorothy Smith Hines. We're honored that Wawa, as we know her, serves on the Atlanta Falcons Youth Foundation Board, reaching out to young people across this state. And Taylor's daughter, Rebecca Smith, is among the Lovett seniors graduating here today. Rebecca, I know you're out there someplace. You wave. There you are. Hi. Good to see you. That association goes even further. My friend John Williams, who's on your advisory board, is a minority owner of the Atlanta Falcons. He has 3 children and one grandchild. Every one is a current or former Lovett Lion. And finally, Coach Dan Reeves was the Lovett commencement speaker for the class of 2000. When you look at Dan or John or Taylor or Dorothy or me, your seniors can see in many, many ways that we're different in a variety of viewpoints. I graduated from high school back in 1960. Elvis had just returned from serving in the Army, shaking up the music scene and a lot of parents at the same time. For music, we bought these thick black vinyl things called records. For guys, wearing straight-leg white Levi's was cool. The most popular TV shows were Gunsmoke and the Andy Griffith Show, and I'm not sure you can even see those shows tonight on TV Land or Nick at Night anymore. And most of us had just one phone in our house and one car, and actually in my family we didn't even have a car. So a lot really has changed. Today we've gone from 45s to MP3 and from white cool Levi cargo to white Levi's to cargo pants, and from Andy Griffith to American Idol. A lot of things are really very different now, but history does repeat itself, and some things are strangely the same. In 1960, our country sent U.S. advisors to South Vietnam as students. We watched and we worried about the prospect of war. Today, you watch the war in Iraq unfold, and many of you are worried about what happens next in this world. In 1960, we saw John F. Kennedy defeat Richard Nixon in a bitterly contested presidential race. Some called it a stolen election. You watched the controversy over the 2000 presidential election between George W. Bush and Al Gore, decided only when the Supreme Court finally stepped in. In 1960s, Martin Luther King Jr. inspired my generation to stand up for social rights and social justice. He went on to win the Nobel Peace Prize. Just months ago, President Jimmy Carter became Georgia's 2nd Nobel Prize winner. He's inspired young people like you to stand up for others. Following President Carter's example, you have built homes for Habitat for Humanity, and you've reached out to help young people in Ecuador, sharing resources and sharing your hope. So life today is different, but in many ways it's still the same. As Yogi Berra once said, just because everything is different doesn't mean that anything has changed. Today, I want to talk about one significant thing that hasn't changed in the history of our country, something that spans many generations, something I believe is the secret formula for true and lasting success in life. The formula has two essential ingredients, two things you need to know to be truly successful. One is a competitive spirit, and the other is a compassionate heart. I learned very early in life that a competitive spirit is key to success. My high school, like Lovett, was competitive. Stuyvesant High School in New York City is a public honors school. That means you have to meet high standards to get in, and you have to work hard to stay in. As students, we competed in the most positive way in academics as well as on our athletic fields. I learned competition can be a good thing. A competitive spirit makes you push yourself to be the best that each of us can be. But it doesn't mean that you have to push other people down in order to succeed. It is not a sum-zero game. In the 1930s, Mrs. Lovett said that progressive education should stress both high competitive standards and cooperation. She believed students could pursue excellence as individuals, but still retain a strong sense of social responsibility. Mrs. Lovett encouraged young people to become contributing members of society, rather than, as she put it, egotistical people obsessed with the notion that society should contribute to them. She understood that a competitive spirit and a compassionate heart are both part of the formula for success. And this has been true in my own life. I'm very competitive. I love competing in sports. I love competing in the world of business, and I love to win in both arenas. There's even a poster in my office about competition, and it says there is no finish line. In other words, you push yourself hard, far beyond the limits of what you think you can achieve. I'm a big believer in a program called Outward Bound. I'm sure many of you are familiar with it. The program uses challenging outdoor activities to teach the principles of teamwork in reaching a goal. The Outward Bound motto is to serve and to strive and not to yield. I've climbed a lot of rocks and a lot of ropes during Outward Bound adventures. What I've learned is that you rely on others, on a team, to get where you need to go. All of us want to win and succeed in life. But we have to remember that we do so as part of a larger team, that the actions we take to win in life can either help or hurt the lives of others. Over the past year, you've read lots of newspaper stories about adults who have broken the rules of their game in order to win. Corporate executives and coaches alike have wanted to win so badly that their businesses or teams ended up paying a terrible price for their dishonesty. As Lovett students, you have a calling in life to be better than that. Lovett taught you that compassion for others really matters. You have been prepared by this school to compete and not cheat. Real winners in life may get there by being competitive, but they don't break the rules or the hearts along the way. Let me share with you a few examples of people who I feel are real winners in life. They're talented and they're very competitive. They're winners because of what they do, but even more so, they are bigger winners because of what they do for others. Warwick Dunn is a running back for our football team, for your Atlanta Falcons. He's got great speed. He's got great quickness. He has eyes in the back of his head. He helps spark our offense in a variety of ways. Last year, Warwick had 4 100-yard games on the ground. He's the second leading receiver on a team, a lot of great accomplishments. His competitive spirit is a huge factor in the success that our football team had this last year on the field and will this coming year. But what he does off the field is even more important. Warwick created a program called Homes for the Holidays. He helps disadvantaged single mothers buy their first homes. He touches the lives of an entire family and families in need by giving them a new start. Warwick has been honored by the National Alliance to End Homelessness and dozens of other groups, even by the White House. He has a competitive spirit and a compassionate heart. Another example is Elise Eplin, our vice president of our family foundation. Elise grew up in Atlanta. She graduated from 2 highly competitive universities, Brandeis and Yale, and was a top performer at both universities. She had an exciting career in investment banking. She could have written her own ticket to success within the business world. Instead, she chose to make a real difference by helping nonprofit groups help communities. Elise was the founding president of Hands On Atlanta, which today creates community service opportunities for more than 25,000 volunteers. Later, Elise served as a program director for the America Project at the Carter Center, fighting poverty in cities across our nation. At our family foundation, she has helped direct more than $100 million in giving to others. Elise had a driving spirit to do something different in her life. Her compassionate heart told her that the greatest thing that she could do was to help others. By the way, Elise Eplin is a graduate of the Lovett School. Lovett can point to many success stories. I was particularly impressed by stories, inspired by 2 stories I heard of two of your graduates, great athletes and champions. Adam Nelson, class of '93, and Brent Abernathy, class of 1996. Both competed in sports on the Lovett Riverbank and went on to compete in the 2000 games in Sydney, Australia. Adam Nelson had an impressive track and field career at Lovett, and later he was struck with a terrible physical injury. The medical experts all advised him to quit his sport, but his answer was that he refused to give up the event he loved, which was the shot put. Adam's spirit and tremendous determination helped him qualify for the Olympic Games in a championship way, and he proudly brought home back to the United States and back to Atlanta a silver medal, a great achievement. Brent played a record 136 baseball games here at Lovett. His batting average was over 500. In the 2000 games, he scored 4 runs, he drove in 4 runs, he stole 3 bases, and he helped the U.S. team bring home a gold medal. That is competitive spirit again. Adam and Brent are both winners. The funny thing is that when people around Lovett talk about Adam and Brent, they don't just talk about their achievements in sports. They talk about who they are as people. And both are known for their belief in teamwork, their loyalty to their friends, their love of their family, and their compassionate hearts. And that is true of many great athletes. Dan Millman wrote a book called The Way of the Peaceful Warrior. Dan is a former gymnastics coach. In his book, he says that some of the most competitive athletes and achievers in the world, like Michael Jordan, see what they do from a team perspective. They believe their own accomplishments don't mean a thing if the team doesn't win. That's true in sports, and it is even more true in life. Life is not an individual event. Every one of us is a part of a relay team. In our careers, in our families, in our communities, we succeed or fall together. We are part of the same team. There are no age, there are no class, there are no social, there are no ethnic dividers when it comes to working together for our success. In fact, there's a danger in setting yourself apart or above others, or from thinking we're entitled to everything we've gotten in life. The truth is, everything we've received in life is a gift. The love of our parents, the help of our friends, our health, our ability to study, to have fun, and to grow. You've been blessed in many ways you may not even have thought of. For example, this is the first Lovett class to graduate from the upper school, that incredible state-of-the-art facility. You may think of the upper school as simply a place you had to take tests or write papers, but the upper school would look like a palace to almost any child from Africa, from Iraq, or frankly, in terms of many public schools throughout our own state. For you, it provided a setting for one of the best educations you could possibly hope for. You've been blessed, and so have I been blessed. In my case, I was fortunate to have great success in the business world. But the real value of that success lies in what my family and I are able to give back to the community. When I was growing up, my mother and father taught me that we are called to be our brother's keeper. To demonstrate that, they shared their scarce time and even scarcer dollars with people who even had less than we did. my mother still tells me today a lot of things. One of the things is that everything I have in life is a gift. It is our responsibility to share that gift and to give back what we can to the world. Last year, my oldest son, Kenny, took me to see The Lord of the Rings. I love the story, the scenery, the battles, and the action. At the end of the movie, I was so pumped up I wanted to jump into the screen to help Frodo's friends fight those ugly things called orcs. You might remember one special scene in the film. It's when Frodo realizes that the ring is a rare gift, but is also a huge and a dangerous responsibility. Frodo looks at his wise friend Gandalf and says, "I wish none of this had happened. I wish the ring had never come to me." And Gandalf replies, "So do all who live to see such times, but that is not for them to decide. All you have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to you." Then he says, "You were meant to have the ring." Each one of you, members of the Lovett class of 2003, were meant to have your own unique gifts and talents. And like Frodo, you have an opportunity to use those gifts for good or to achieve selfish goals. And like Frodo, it's up to you to decide what to do with the time that is given to you. As you decide, as you chart your course for achieving success in life, I'd like to encourage you to carry with you the formula for real success with its two parts: a competitive spirit and a compassionate heart. Congratulations and the best of luck in all that you choose to do. Thank you.